Anatolia from their collection, The Last Songs of Palestine. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh.
As we continue our coverage of the Israeli offensive in Gaza, we spend the rest of the hour with Henry Siegman, the former executive director of the American Jewish Congress, long described as one of the nation's big three Jewish organizations, along with the American Jewish Committee and the Anti-Defamation League. Henry Siegman was born in 1930 in Frankfurt, Germany. 3 years later, the Nazis came to power. After fleeing Nazi troops in Belgium, his family eventually moved to the United States. His father was a leader of the European Zionist movement, pushing for the creation of a Jewish state. In New York, Henry Siegman studied and was ordained as an Orthodox rabbi by Yeshiva Torah Vodas. He later became head of the Synagogue Council of America. After his time at the American Jewish Congress, Siegman became a senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations. He now serves as president of the U.S. Middle East Project.
Over the years, Henry Siegman has become a vocal critic of Israel's policies in the occupied territories and has urged Israel to engage with Hamas. He's called the Palestinian struggle for a state, quote, the mirror image of the Zionist movement that led to the founding of Israel in 1948. He recently wrote a piece for Politico headlined, Israel provoked this war. Nermeen Sheikh and I sat down with him on Tuesday. I started by asking Henry Siegman if he could characterize the situation in Gaza at the moment.
Yes, it's disastrous. It's disastrous both in political terms, which is to say the situation cannot conceivably, certainly in the short run, lead to any positive results, to an improvement in the lives of either Israelis or Palestinians. And of course it's disastrous in humanitarian terms, the kind of slaughter that's taking place there, when one thinks that this is what is necessary for Israel to survive, that the Zionist dream is based on the slaughter of the repeated slaughter of innocents on a scale that we're watching these days on television. That is really a profound crisis, should be a profound crisis in the thinking of all of us who were committed to the establishment of the state and to its success. That leads one virtually to a whole rethinking of this historical phenomenon.
What do you believe, Mr. Siegman, what do you believe the objectives of Israel are in this present assault, on Gaza?
Well, they have several objectives, though I'm not sure that each of them is specifically responsible for the carnage we're seeing now. It has what seems on the surface a justifiable objective of ending these attacks, the rockets that come from Gaza, and are aimed, it's hard to say they're aimed at civilians because they never seem to land anywhere that causes serious damage, but they could and would have if not for luck. So, on the face of it, Israel has a right to do what it's doing now, and of course it's been affirmed by even the President of the United States repeatedly, that no country would agree to live with that kind of a threat repeatedly hanging over it. But what he doesn't add, and what perverts this principle, undermines the principle, is that no country and no people would live the way Gazans have been made to live. And consequently, this moral equation which puts Israel on top as the victim that has to act to prevent its situation from continuing that way, and the Palestinians in Gaza, or Hamas, the organization responsible for Gaza, who are the attackers, our media rarely ever points out that these are people who have a right to live a decent, normal life too. And they too must think, what can we do to put an end to this? And this is why in the Politico article that you mentioned, I pointed out that the question of the morality of Israel's action depends in the first instance on the question, couldn't Israel be doing something in preventing the disaster that is playing out now in terms of the destruction of human lives? Couldn't they have done something that didn't require that cost? And the answer is sure. They could have ended the occupation with results, whatever the risks are, they certainly aren't greater than the price being paid now for Israel's effort to continue and sustain permanently their relationship to the Palestinians.